Hi, hello students. Welcome to Indian Tech Guru for you. Let us move on to the next topic. The next topic is comparison of programming languages. So in the previous class, we discussed about what is meant by assembly language, what is meant by machine language, so what is meant by high level language. So all these concepts we have seen in brief. So in today's class, we will be considering a simple program of adding two numbers and see how these programs are written in different types of programming languages. As you are familiar with C language in first year, so let me write the same program in C language, C program. So let us define three integers, int a comma b comma c, and we have to assign the values for a and b. A is equal to 83, b is equal to minus 23, and we have to perform c is equal to a plus b, c is equal to a plus b. So that's it. These are the three statements which are equivalent statements for the program which is mentioned here. What is that program? Find the a plus b value and store in C. The value for a is 83, the value for b is minus 23. In C language, each and every statement must be ended with a semicolon. Okay. So this is a simple C program. Why I am starting from C program is, so as I have already discussed previously, human being will understand the high level programming language in a better way compared to the assembly language as well as the machine code. So this is the C language program which is equivalent to the given program. And coming up to the Fortran program. Fortran is also high level language program. So Fortran means actually formula translation. So this from here for is taken, from here tran is taken, and combined it has Fortran programming. Okay. So in case of Fortran programming, so it is also very easy to understand because it is also a high level programming language. Integer ABC. So here instead of using int, we have to use integer in capital letters, and then we have to define, we have to give the values using the data command, give the values to the variables using the data command. And how values are assigned? Using the comma, data a comma 83, and you can separate several values with a forward slash, and then b comma minus 23. So this line is equivalent to this line. Okay. And c equal to a plus b, same as C language, and we need to give end command, so which signifies that the program has been closed. Okay, there is no further statements. So this is a sample of Fortran program snapshot. So for the program adding two numbers and saving the content in C. So now let us move on to the assembly language program, so which we are much interested. So we are not interested in C program as well as Fortran program, because in this chapter we are going to see program, how to write the programs in assembly language code. So here you can see the program for adding two numbers, org0. It represents the origin of the program is at location 0. That is, the program is residing at location 0. Okay. Next statement is LDA. So as far as the org is concerned, it is a special type of command, not related to the commands which we have seen previously. In the previous table we have seen several commands. So it is not included in those commands because it is a special, it is having special significance, so which we will discuss later. So as of now, ORG means origin of program is location 0. That is, the program is residing at location 0. Next statement we already know, LDA. LDA means it represents the load statement. So load operand from location A. Load operand from location A. So to load the operand from location A must contain some value. Okay. So for that purpose, we are going to use this particular line of code, A comma DEC, A comma DEC 83. So DEC represents decimal operand. So this line of code is going to assign the value 83 to A. Next line of code is add B. So what does it mean? We are going to add the content of A with the content of B. So for that purpose we need the content of B. So the content of B is actually assigned from here. So add operand from location B. So the location B will be assigned with a decimal operand minus 23. So now the addition has been carried out. Successfully. And the next statement is STAC. STAC represents store sum in location C. So to store the sum in location C, we need the C variable. So we need to define a C variable also. So here we are defining C as a decimal operand. So initially assign the value 0. However, after the add operation, the result will be stored in C. Okay. Next, HLT means halt computer. So after performing the operations, halt the computer, and end represents end of the symbolic program. So this is how we are going to write a program in assembly language code. Okay. So we will be writing several programs like this in the coming up sessions, so that we will better understand. And in the coming up sessions, we will be learning what are the different types of commands other than the arithmetic as well as the logical operations. That also we will see. Okay. So as of now, remember, this is the code for adding two numbers. Next, so the same code, if you are implementing in a symbolic operation code, using a symbolic operation code, then we can write the same code. So like this. Okay. So what is that code? 000 load 004, load 004. Okay. So what does it mean? Load the first operand into accumulator register. Okay. Next, add 005. Add 005. What does it represents? Add second operand to accumulator register. Now the result is in accumulator register. Next, store 006. Store 006. Okay. So store sum in location 006. Now we need to know what are the contents of location 004, 005, 006. So in 004 you can see the value 53 is there. The value 53 is there. So which is equivalent to the first operand. Okay. Similarly, in case of 005, FFE9 is there. So which is nothing but the 2's complement of the negative number minus 23. It represents the 2's complement of negative number minus 23. So we already know how to represent minus 23 in 2's complement. So if you derive the binary equivalent of 23, 2 11s 22, remainder 1, 2 5s 10, remainder 1, 2 2s 4, remainder 1, 2 1s 2, remainder 0, 2 0s 0, remainder 1. So what is the value? 1 0 1 1 1. So however, here we already know that the operand will be stored in 16 bits. Okay, the data will be stored in 16 bits. So however, here only there are 5 bits. So the remaining bits we need to fill with all zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. So 4, 8, 12, 16, total 16 bits. Now to represent in 2's complement, it must be converted into 2's complement. So how we are going to convert? So initially in the first one itself, so 1 encountered in the rightmost bit itself, 1 encountered. So that is why, so we are going to write that 1 as it is, and exchange all the remaining bits. 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So 1, 0, 0, 1, 9, triple 1, 0, E, all ones F, all ones F. So what is the equivalent value? F E9. So F E9 in 2's complement represent minus 23 value. Minus 23 value. So in 005 location, minus 23 value is residing. And 006, 006 initially we are going to store the 0 value. After the sum has been derived, then we are going to store the sum. Store sum in location 006. And then halt computer, that is stop executing that particular program because the result has been obtained. Okay. So this is the code in program with symbolic operation code, So what is meant by symbolic operation code is we are going to use the operation code as well as the symbol for the particular instruction. Operation code as well as the symbol for the particular operation code. So what does it mean? It means that instead of giving the code for hexadecimal code for the particular operation, we are going to give the code LDA, add, STA, HLT, something like that, and the remaining 3 bits are going to represent the address location. So these 3 are hexadecimal only. Okay. So this code represents, these codes represent a single hexadecimal value, whereas these codes will represent 3 hexadecimal numbers, which is going to represent the address locations. Okay. Now let us go through the next one. So that is the machine code. The machine code in hexadecimal format. Okay. So this is that code. So what is the code for load operation? Load operation and direct address. The code for load operation direct address is 2. Just in case of the binary program in hexadecimal, what we are going to do? So we are going to convert these symbolic operation codes also into hexadecimal codes. So what is the symbolic operation code for load? We have already seen in the previous classes, 2, because it represents the direct address. Okay. So that is why add 2 here, then it becomes 2004. Location same. Next, what is the operation code for add command? For add command, the operation code is 1. So 1005. The operation code for STA command is 3006. So why 213? Because we are going to represent the direct addresses. If you represent indirect addresses, so then the code value will be different. Okay, they are represented in hexadecimal. So A, B, C, starting from 9 A, B, C, something like that, they will be represented. So not 9, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, already we have seen the previous classes. So what are those commands? Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E. So these starting hexadecimal codes represents the direct addresses. If it is a direct address, if the given address is direct address, then they will be represented like this. So if the given address is indirect address, then the starting hexadecimal code will be starting with 8 to E, 8 to E. Okay, and we have seen 0 or 8 is going to represent the AND operation. 1 or 9 represent add operation. 2 or A represent store operation. Okay, so something like that we have seen different operations that are actually existing. And here you can see the halt operation is represented with 7001. Halt is a register reference instruction, that is why it starts with 7. And what are the remaining things? Remaining things is at location 004, the value 53 has been stored in hexadecimal, and at location 005, the value FFE9 is stored, that is minus 23 is stored in 2's complement representation, and at the location 006, 000 value is stored before actually operation is completed. Okay, this is nothing but initialization. So that is how we are going to write the machine binary code or machine code in hexadecimal format. So however, this is the actual binary program to add two numbers. Why we came from bottom to top? So initially we have seen the C program, and then Fortran program, and then assembly language program, and then program with symbolic operation code, and then so binary program in hexadecimal, and then finally binary program, original binary program to add two numbers. Okay, so this is the original program which is actually stored as machine code inside of the computer system, which is directly understandable by the processor. All the remaining codes are not understood by the computer system. Okay, so simply expand whatever the values that are in hexadecimal, expand those values into binary. That's it. That is the actual code. Okay, 2004. This is 2 equivalent of binary code, 0 0. This is 4. Okay, like that FFE9, FFE9. So just expand the hexadecimal code into binary. That's it. The binary program to add two numbers will be available. Okay, so this is how we are going to implement a simple program adding two numbers and storing the content in C in different types of programming languages. However, our basic aim is in this chapter is to be able to write the code in assembly language programming. Now let us move on to the actual assembly language code and what are the different syntaxes for different types of elements inside of the assembly language programming. Such as in case of C language, how we are going to learn? We are going to learn the syntax for defining a variable. We are going to learn the syntax for assignment operations, syntax for control statements, syntax for various different operations such as defining a structure, how to handle files, all those things. There will be syntax. Like that, in case of the assembly language, what are the different syntax available? Okay, so different syntax available. So as far as the assembly language is concerned, there are different types of fields. The first type of field we need to discuss is the instruction field. Okay, so instruction field is very important because any operation is basically actually performs a particular instruction to be executed. Okay, so here there will be two different types of instructions basically. So they are memory reference instruction, MRI, memory reference instruction, MRI. So MRI consists of 2 or 3 symbols separated by commas, by spaces, not commas, by spaces. Okay, So for example, here there is a statement add OPR, add OPR. What it represents? It represents add operation with a direct address OPR. OPR represents a direct address. Okay. So in memory, you will have at OPR location you will have a value. So let it be 83, 94, something like that. So using that particular value, you are going to perform the add operation. So however, we'll have one more operation known as the memory reference instruction with the indirect address. Okay. So the syntax of that particular type of instruction is add ptr I. So here I represents the indirect address. So sometimes we may use the indirect address also. So what does it mean? In PTR location, you will have the actual operand address, OPR address. Okay. So we have discussed about the indirect address, how it works previously also. So what are the two different types of syntaxes? So the first one is direct address memory reference instruction. So it is written as symbolic code and then operand. And the second one is indirect address memory reference instruction. The syntax is symbolic code, indirect address I. And the second category of second category of instructions are register reference instructions. So these register reference instructions are represented as non-MRI. So these non-MRI instructions do not have any of the address part. How can we recognize a particular instruction as a register reference instruction? If it do not contain any of the address part, then we can say it is a register reference instruction. Okay. So in addition to these two types of instructions, you will have one more instruction also known as the pseudo instruction with or without an operand. Okay. So what is meant by this pseudo instruction is already we have seen one type, ORG. ORG is a pseudo instruction. Pseudo instruction means so it is actually not related to the assembly level programming code. So it actually says something other things. That is, in case of ORG, it says that the origin of the program is starting at memory location 0. Similarly, there is a pseudo instruction such as AND. AND is going to represent the end of the particular program. It is going to represent the end of the particular program. Okay. Similarly, in addition to these type of instructions, in case of the assembly code, you will have so one more type known as the label field. So already we have seen the label field, which is used to define the values for the variables. In the previous assembly code, we have seen the label field for defining the values for the variable A as well as variable B and variable C. So those are actually terminated by a comma. Label field, instruction field, label field. So in addition to instruction field, label field, so you will have one more field known as the comment field. So actually this comment field may be empty or may include a comment. So if you want to write comment for each and every line of code, then you can use this particular comment field. So after knowing about these different types of instructions, let us once again check the assembly language program. Okay. So this is the pseudo instruction means it is not related to any of the program functionality. So it is going to say the origin of the program is at location 0. Already we discussed that the pseudo instruction may contain a location or may not contain a particular address. Okay, may contain a address or may not contain a address. And LDA A, add B, STAC. So these three are memory reference instructions, memory reference instructions known as MRI instructions. So because we are using direct address, we have not specified any I symbol. Okay, if you use indirect address, then you have to specify the I symbol. Okay, so similarly, coming up to the halt, HLT. So it is a non-memory reference instruction. NMRI, non-memory reference instruction. Okay, so non-memory reference instruction represents a register reference instruction. Next, these three different lines of code is going to represent the label fields. What is the purpose of label fields? To define the variables, that is to assign the values for the variables. So these are separated by commas. A comma DEC83 represents a decimal operand. B comma DEC minus 23 represents a decimal operand. C comma DEC0 represents the decimal operand, and the values of 83 minus 23 and 0 will be moved to the variables A, B, C. These are called as label fields. And AND is once again represented as a pseudo instruction. So this is pseudo instruction. Once again, do not need any operand. Already we discussed that the pseudo instruction may or may not need any operand. Now let us see some of the pseudo instructions that are available in the assembly language code. The first pseudo instruction is ORGN, which we have seen in the previous program also. So it is going to represent a hexadecimal number n is the memory location for the instruction or operand listed in the following line. Okay, so ORGN represents the origin of the program, where the program is starting, where n is the memory location, and denotes the end of the symbolic program. So this command also we have used in the previous program. Then DECN. So DECN is actually used as signed decimal number n to be converted to the binary. So it is going to represent a signed decimal number. And hexen. So DECN also we have used in the previous program. Hexen we have not used. So it is going to represent the hexadecimal number n to be converted to the binary. Ultimately, each and every number should be converted into either converted into binary. Let it be decimal number or hexadecimal number. They must be converted into the binary format before actually performing any operation. Okay. So now with this knowledge, let us see the one more assembly program for the subtraction of two numbers. Okay. So ORG 100. In the previous program, what we have written ORG 0. ORG 0 means the origin of the program is located at 0 location. Now ORG 100. What does it mean? The origin of the program is located at 100. Okay. So you can give any number here based on the location of the program. So this is not related to the program logic. Remember that this is a pseudo instruction. Okay. Next, LDA sub. LDA sub represents load the subhand to AC. Load the subhand to accumulator register. Okay. So, but what is the value of the subhand? The value of the subhand we are going to give using the label field and using the pseudo instruction DEC minus 23. So DEC minus 23. What does it mean? We are going to store the decimal number minus 23 into the variable sub. Here sub is a variable. Okay. So that is load, and to perform the subtraction operation, what we need to do? We need to perform the complement accumulator, complement the value of the accumulator, and increment the value of the accumulator. So what does it mean? Complement AC and increment AC. So we are converting the subhand value into 2's complement. Okay. So to perform the 2's complement, what we need to do? we need to complement the content and then increment the content. That we did, okay, using the CMA command and INC command. So because these two commands do not have any of the operands, so these two commands are NMRI commands. That is non-memory reference instructions. Non-memory reference instructions. We have seen just now. There are two categories of instructions: memory reference instructions, non-memory reference instructions. How to recognize? So if there is no operand, then so it will be non-memory reference instruction. Here you can see there is no operand. That is why we can say these are non-memory reference instructions. So next, coming to the next operation, add min. Add min means add the minuend to the accumulator register. Add the minuend to the accumulator register. Okay. So already we converted the minuend into 2's complement. Now just add the content of the minuend to the accumulator register will result in the subtraction operation. Okay. Now the subtraction is done. However, we need some value in the minuend variable, so that value is stored using this particular label. So min comma DEC 83, that is store the value of 83 into the min variable. Okay. So after that store the result in a particular variable DAF. So for that purpose I am defining DAF variable as hex 0. So that is the difference is stored in as a hexadecimal value. Okay. So here you can see we can store the content either in hexadecimal or in decimal. Ultimately these hexadecimal and decimal must be converted into binary. Okay. And finally we are using two operations, HLT for stopping the computer, so which is a non-memory reference instruction, and end for end of the symbolic program, to represent the end of the symbolic program, which is a pseudo operation, pseudo code. Okay, pseudo operation. Okay. So now with this what we recognized that there are three different categories of commands in assembly language program: pseudo instructions, label field, as well as instruction field. So in case of the instruction field, there are two more categories: memory reference instructions, non-memory reference instructions. Okay, if you want to convert this symbolic assembly language program into the hexadecimal code, then we can easily convert it. So just ignore the pseudo instructions. ORG is a pseudo instruction and END is a pseudo instruction. So ignore those two instructions and convert the memory reference instructions and non-memory reference instructions into hexadecimal code. Okay. So here the LDA is equivalent to the hexadecimal code 2, which we have seen previously. Okay, you can refer to the previous videos. And sub is a operand, which is stored in location 107. Here it is stored. So that is why we need to give the address of sub. Address of sub is 107. So here it will be 2107. Next command is CMA, complement accumulator command. Directly we know the code for complement accumulator register 7200. Next, increment command. Directly we know the command for increment 7020. Next, add min. So we know the hexadecimal code for add 1, because we are using a direct address, and where min is stored in 106. So the address is 1106. Next, store. The code for store is 3 hexadecimal code, and where the difference is stored in 108. So give the address 108. Okay. So next, halt. The direct code for halt instruction is 7001, register reference instruction that we already seen in previous classes. So and the value for min is 53. The value for sub is -23 in hexadecimal representation. The initial value for difference is 0000, which is represented in hexadecimal, and all these instructions are stored because the ORG is 100, that is the starting location is 100. All these instructions are stored from 100 to starting from 100, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105. So these locations represent the instructions, and then data is stored in 106, 107, and 108. Okay. So like this, we can convert the given assembly level programming code into hexadecimal code, and how we are going to represent in the hexadecimal code. Now once it is converted into hexadecimal code, now it is easy for us to convert into machine code. Okay, so it is easy for us to convert into machine code. Okay, so how we are going to convert, because all these are in hexadecimal representation, just convert them into binary, that's it. So location, content, location is 100. What is the content? Content will be in hexadecimal 2, 00101, 0001, 0, 00007, 0111. So like this, we can just convert the content of the hexadecimal into binary. Then it is going to represent the actual machine code, which will be in the binary format. Okay. As I already discussed that we cannot write a very big programs using the assembly level coding. So we are going to show you only some simple programs. However, in the next session, what we will be discussing is how to convert the given assembly code into machine code. How we are going to convert? Using the assembler program. So in the next session, what we are going to do is we are going to see how this assembler is going to convert the given assembly level programming code into machine code. So what are the steps needed? And we are going to discuss those steps in detail. So that's all for now. Stay tuned.